Hey guys, welcome back to another video on thoughts. How to control your thought frequency to attract better things in your life based on what you wish rather than things that you don't want to attract in your life. Now, controlling thoughts is critical because thoughts are frequency, remember? And like attracts like. So while we start this video on another technique on how to control your thoughts, I'm going to ask you the very first question which I ask you in every single video lesson. What's that question? I hope you remember. Yes, the question is, are you manifesting every day? Are you using law of attraction every day? Please remember, if you're not using law of attraction, you're not going to get the results you want. Okay? I remember people coming to my workshop 1 year after attending a law of attraction workshop. They come back home for another free workshop. And as you know, we keep doing these free law of attraction workshops at home, right? And when people come sometimes 1 year after that and repeat the workshop, they come and ask me and they say, Mitesh, I don't know why law of attraction used to work in the beginning. It stopped working now. And I tell people that law of attraction is like गन्ने की machine है. You've seen a गन्ने की machine, a sugarcane machine where sugarcane comes out of the machine, right? The juice comes out of the machine. And it's like a machine and you put the sugarcane this side and the juice comes out on the other side. Hey, law of attraction is like this. You're not using it. You're not putting the sugarcane in it. How are you going to get the results? As far as you're going to put the sugarcane in it, you're going to get the juice out of it. But the moment you stop putting the sugarcane in, juice stops coming out of it. So please use law of attraction every day. Please use manifestation every day, which means what? Do your visualization every day, do your affirmations every day, do your vision boards every day, do whatever you need to do your gratitude every day. But please start with manifestation every single morning of your life, every single night, end with manifestation. And during the day, keep your law of attraction lifestyle, which means whatever you are doing, whether you're going to get a rickshaw, whether you're going to the hotel and you want the kind of food you really want, manifest that your dinner is over and that you've got the perfect dinner experience that you wanted. Now you would say, why do I have to manifest for small things? Remember what I said in one of the law of attraction lifestyle videos. I said if you manifest small things every day, your law of attraction power increases. And then when it comes to big things, you're ready to manifest that. Okay? So don't just keep using law of attraction for big things like marriage or a job or a promotion or new business or new clients. Use law of attraction for small things during the day. You should use law of attraction for at least 5 or 10 things during the day. I use it every day. That's one of the reasons I call myself a master of law of attraction. If you want to do mastery on law of attraction, you have to use it every single day. Okay? All right. So it's time now for our next technique on how to control your thoughts. Here we go. But before we start this, here's what I want you to do. I want you to stand up. I'm standing right now. Please stand up. Yeah, go ahead, stand up. Okay, some of you, you're probably just sitting there thinking, I can't see you. I can see you. Come on, stand up right now. Do this exercise with me. Come on. Okay, good. Hopefully you're standing up, right? I'm trusting you. Now, as you're standing up, get your hands like this. Yep, just like this. All right? And now, do this with me. Go towards your left. Yep. I'm going towards my left. You can go to your left. All right? And do this with me. Now go to the other side. Yep. And now do this. Okay? And now do this. And now do this. And right again. And left again. And right again. And left again. And do this. Do this. Come on. Keep doing it. Don't stop. Keep doing it. Okay, stop before you get giddy. Okay. Now tell me, why did I do this? Well, if you could tell me, I could hear you. But let me tell you why I did this. First question. When you did this exercise, maybe for the first few seconds it's fun. But if I was to ask you to keep doing this the whole day, would you be comfortable? Forget comfortable. It would be torture, right? Yes, it's a torture. Now imagine physically it is torture to be imbalanced. This is called imbalanced, right? What is the meaning of imbalance? Imbalance means being on one side more than the other, being on the other side more than the other. So whenever you are on one side more than required or on the other side more than required, that's called imbalance in life. And whenever you're going to even physically stand imbalance for too long, it's going to feel like torture in some time. Maybe it's fun for a few seconds. After some time, it's a torture. Our mind, inside this head, our mind thinks in an imbalanced manner. So I call it imbalanced thinking. What do we call it? Imbalanced thinking. All our imbalanced emotions is a result of our imbalanced thinking, or our imbalanced actions are a result of our imbalanced thinking. Now, what is imbalanced thinking? Whenever we are too positive in life, you would say that's good. But hey, that's imbalanced too. Now you would say, but Mitesh, aren't you the one who said be positive? Look back at my videos. In my videos, I never said be positive all the time. I always said be specific about what you want, feel, think, and believe and act as if you've already got it. Never in my law of attraction will I ever say think positive, because that's not the only solution every single time. In fact, if you're too positive all the time, you're being imbalanced. How? Let's take an example of that. Let's say you're getting into an affair with a girl, okay? Or you're a girl and you're getting into an affair with a boy. When you're in the initial stage of a relationship, all of us, whenever we are in the beginning of a relationship, are we balanced in the relationship? Is our perspective, is our thinking balanced towards the other person, or is it imbalanced? Do we think about their positives and their negatives when we are dealing with them and accept both? Or are we thinking only the positives and believe there are zero negatives in the other person? That's right, that's what we do, don't we? We think so positive about that person that we stop expecting any negatives from them. In fact, we start believing that this person is perfect. We start believing that this person has zero negatives. And what happens as a result of that? Well, initially it's a lot of fun. Imbalance is fun in the beginning. It's a lot of fun because you have all the positives that you're focused on. You see the person's good qualities, you see the person's physical good qualities, behavioral good qualities, you see everything good about them. But what happens after some time? After the relationship is stable for some time, this person is going to start being the real them. And every person in the world has positives and negatives both. I'm going to repeat that. Every person in the world has positives and negatives both. Every situation in the world has positives and negatives both. Every country in the world has positives and negatives both. Right? So please say this with me. Everything in the world, repeat that with me. Everything in the world has positives and negatives both. Doesn't it? Even electricity in the house is made of the positive wire and the negative wire. You can't have one side more than the other. You always need both in life. But when you're too positive about this person, now what happens? They can take you for granted. They can cheat you. Why? Because you can't see their flip side. You can't see their negatives anymore, right? And when you get cheated in life, you blame the other person for feeling cheated. But ask yourself, were you not responsible? Were you not responsible to take care of your own personality? Were you not responsible to take care of your own respect? If you didn't want the other person to cheat you, you should have understood how that human being is. You should have understood their character. And if you couldn't understand their character, it's your responsibility. But why couldn't you understand their character? One simple reason. Because you saw so many of their positives that you could never take precautions for their negatives. And as a result, they took you for granted. They cheated you because that's who they are. But you got cheated because you are an imbalanced person. Do you see how important it is to not only see the positives of a person, but also to take precautions for the negative sides of the person so that you're mentally ready for them, right? So for an example, as simple as this, let's say I'm calling a vendor at home and I'm getting my interior done, by the way, right now. Oh yes, did I tell you guys, congratulations. My house is finally getting ready. We are shifting next month to my house on about 10th of August. So while we are getting the house ready, we're hiring these vendors to do either the wallpaper or the tiling, etc. Now when I call this guy, this wallpaper guy is extremely good attitude, right? Then he asked me for an advance. I said, sure, I'll give you the advance. Start the work. And he said, I want 100% advance. Now I used to do this. I used to give the person 100% advance. And then what happened? Sometimes they would cheat me, which means that they would start the work, but they would leave it incomplete, and then I have to follow them up all the time. Now I'm not saying that right now this person is bad, but do I need to take precautions for their negatives, which every person has? Can they get casual once they get all the money? Sure. So what do? I gave them half the money. And I said, right now you keep half the advance. When you finish all the work as per my requirements, only then I'll give you the rest of the half. He said, okay. He wasn't very happy, but he said, okay. And believe it, after the work started, came many instances, many situations where I had to follow him up for doing things not as per the quality that we had discussed. If I had not kept half the money with me, believe me, this guy would have been casual because mentally his job is done because he's got the money. And now there is no pressure on him on why he should have completed the work. But right now he's under pressure because half of his money is with me, right? And he's used the material. So frankly, he's just got paid for the material. He hasn't really made any money from me yet. So he has to complete my work as per my requirements that we had agreed upon. And he's doing it. It's critical that we think balanced at life. Don't get too positive, don't get too negative. At the same time, most of us in life get too negative in our thinking. We look at more negative side of the person than the positive side. For an example, someone cheated you in the past. So then you hire a new vendor and you say, all vendors are cheats. Now, what are you doing in your mind? You're thinking about vendors in a very negative form, and you're thinking they don't have any positives. Now that's, again, an imbalanced way of thinking. After some time, it's going to get tortured. Why? Because looking at every person from a negative perspective is going to drain your energy, and it's going to start attracting negativity to you. So, what do? Yes, when you hire a vendor next time, you look at the flip side of they being able to cheat you and probably taking precautions by not giving them 100% advance. But you also treat them positively, expecting the good side of them. You understand that they also have a good side. So you treat them with respect. You don't treat them the way you treated the last person, because this is not that person who cheated you last time. This is a new relationship, it's a new vendor. So look at their positive side, look at their bright side, and be ready for the negative side, both. This is called as balanced thinking. Now, in life, we have always got both the positives and the negatives. For an example, when the 26/11 happened, when the terrorists had come in Mumbai and they attacked our country, yes, there was a lot of negative side of that. But guys, if you're going to focus only on the negatives of that, it's going to become a torturous experience for you every time you think about that 26/11 situation. How do you become balanced? Well, you think of that situation and you quickly remember that what was the positive happening during that time. The whole country got united that time. There were people who wouldn't talk to each other. They got together to help that situation. There were people who were praying. There were people who were meditating. All this happened because that happened. Every negative has a positive. So you must remember to always see both sides of life to become balanced in life. If you're all the time negative or all the time positive, constantly, you are always going to have a topsy-turvy life, right? And because of that, it's not going to be a great experience in life. So sometimes you'll feel life is too positive and it'll be too adventurous. And then suddenly it'll get too negative and it's going to become too torturous. Believe me, both is a torture. Extreme is always a torture. Get balanced in life. And how do you get balanced? Start thinking in a balanced way. What does that mean? It means start seeing, start thinking about both sides of a person, of a situation, of life, of everything in life. For an example, in my relationship with Indu, when I got with her, I used to be very, very imbalanced on the negative side. Very imbalanced on the negative side. How? Initially, actually, I was more imbalanced on the positive side, which means I saw she's like the perfect person in the world, my dream girl. She has no problems at all. Everybody has negatives. When I got married to her, I realized she's an extremely aggressive person. And when I saw that aggressive quality, I, being a trainer, I don't like aggression. I feel you should always be respectful to others. But then listen, when I started getting too negative about this, what happened? I started getting imbalanced all the time. I would feel bad all the time. And negative things started happening to me simply because I'm feeling negative all the time about Indu. Now you would say, Indu's a bad person because of which I'm feeling like that. Hey, she's not. She's just got aggression quality. Now you would say, how is that good? I started realizing that everything in the world has negatives and positives both. Yes, aggression has negative qualities, but it also has positive qualities. I'll give you my example. In my business, there are required discipline qualities that we need. Making calls to certain clients at certain time, reaching workshops on certain time, creating an itinerary of my busy schedule the entire month. The entire business management requires a lot of aggressive quality. I don't have that. So if I was left alone to do my business, guys, believe me, I wouldn't have the success that I have right now. The only reason I'm successful in life is not just because of the way I talk. It's because of the way Indu manages the entire business. She's the managing director of the company. And that requires being aggressive, right? I'm not a good MD. She's a great MD. Now, if I'm only going to look at the negative side of aggression, I'm going to throw it away. But everything comes with negative and positive both. So now every time I see Indu's aggression, I don't judge her. It's not that I'm going to compromise with her aggression. No, I don't have to compromise it. I love her for her aggression. Why? Because yes, there are some negatives, but it also has positives, guys. And if I'm going to love the positives, I have to learn to love the negatives too in that person. Now I'm mature towards her. Now I'm balanced towards her. So once in a while, when she's angry, it's all right. I remember that it's a part of this anger that gets the work done the whole month. It's a part of this anger that gets me successful in life. And if it was up to me alone, things would have never worked. It's like fire. Aggression is like fire, right? You go to the kitchen and you say, I don't want fire in my life at all. Fire is bad. Fire burns people. Fire hurts people. Sure it does. But it's the same fire that cooks food. Try living without fire. Try living your entire life without fire. Guys, it's impossible. You need heat. You need the sun. That warmth as much as you need the sweat that happens during the summer season. So yes, summer seasons are bad, but that climate is necessary to keep our country balanced. Try going to the Antarcticas or try going to Kashmir where it's so extreme that it's cold all the time. Or wouldn't you rather be in a place where there is sun? Yes, it's going to sweat. It's going to feel hot once in a while. But hey, it's going to give you the nutrition to your body, to your country that you need too. All right? So when I now look at Indu, I don't just see an aggressive person. I see a wonderful person with a beautiful quality of aggression, which I don't have. So now I see it in a balanced manner. So now I'm not irritated about it. Acceptance happens when you see things in a more balanced way. Love happens when you see things in a more balanced way. All right? Let me give you one more example there. I personally am a very, very, you can say, lazy person. Yep. Now, is that a positive quality or a negative quality? Of course, it's a negative quality, right? I used to see this as a negative quality all the time. And I used to get very imbalanced about me being lazy. And I used to feel bad and feel depressed. And I used to keep trying to motivate myself. And no matter what I did in my life, I couldn't be as motivated as probably Indu. She was really hardworking. I just could never match up to her standards of how work has to happen. And there was this one day when Indu made me realize that, hey, listen, Mitesh, yes, you're lazy, but that's the same nature that makes you spontaneous. It's the same nature that makes you creative. It's the same nature that makes you think about people. It's the same nature that gives you empathy towards people. Think about it. People who are empathetic, people who feel what others feel, are mostly lazy. At least I am, right? It's because being lazy doesn't require aggression. Being lazy requires calm energy, right? Satisfied energy. And when I'm calm, I'm able to empathize with you guys. When I'm satisfied, I'm able to be balanced and I'm able to train people rather than get crazy about making money in life. It's the same quality of being lazy that's helping me everywhere in life. Now, it's not particularly lazy, but it's that energy that makes me lazy. Also, it's the same energy that makes me what? Calm, empathetic with people. So remember, just like fire has its own quality, water has its own quality too. Laziness is more like water, it just lies there doing nothing. Have you seen a river, a lake? It does nothing, it just lies there. Okay, it's lazy, that's why it's called lazy river. But listen, water has its own advantages, right? Now when I see myself, I don't hate myself for being lazy. I see myself that, yes, I have this quality of being lazy, but that it's the same energy that makes me spontaneous. It's the same energy that makes me empathetic. So now I see myself balanced. And by the way, Indu taught me how to see this, right? So that's balanced perspective. Two people can be happy with each other only when they have a balanced perspective towards each other. What does that mean? It means that every time you see their negatives, you see their positives. Every time you see their negatives, you see their positives. And you're like, yeah, I know this is bad, but listen, it's the same energy that makes them do this. And when you're able to see the negatives of a person and the positives of a person, you fall in love. But this love is not falling, it's rising in love. Why? Because now this is acceptance. And it's not compromise, guys. It's very different from compromise. Compromise is being too much on the negative side and saying, chalo, theek hai, I don't have an option, I have to live with it now. Now that's a compromise. But when you're accepting the positives gratefully, when you're accepting the negatives gratefully, this is called as acceptance. There's no compromise in that in a relationship. Do the same in your office. You have an office where your boss is aggressive with you sometimes or too bossy with you sometimes. Now, that's a negative about the boss. I'm not denying it. But listen, it's the same boss that pushes you in life to do things that you wouldn't do otherwise, right? You need these people to push you in life. Like I need my boss Indu to push me in my life. And believe me, you need these people to push you in your life. So every time you see your boss now, and instead of thinking of them only in one dimension, which is the negative dimension, think of them in both dimensions. What's the bad about them, but what's the positive about them? When you write down both, you suddenly become positive in your life, right? So start getting balanced thinking. Start getting balanced thinking. How do you know getting imbalanced? Too positive? Simple. Imbalanced. Too negative? Simple. Imbalanced. Balanced means peace, calm, present moment, positive feeling. But it's more positive from a centered point of view rather than excitement point of view. Now, does that mean once in a while you can't get extremes? Sure you can. When you go to an adventure park, when you go for a party, you go imbalance all the way towards positive. And it's all right to do that. But when you do that, coming back the next day, remember that life is going to throw you towards negatives because you were too positive yesterday. So some challenges are going to happen to you. When they happen, be balanced. Look at both the perspectives of that situation. And again, you'll be balanced again. All right? I do this all the time. Every time I come back from holiday, I know that sometimes things go a little wrong, or sometimes I face some challenges, or sometimes I get a client who's very difficult to deal with. Well, I remember that yes, this client is difficult, but it's the same client that's giving me 2 lakh rupees a day. It's the same client that's making me live in this 5-star hotel. It's the same client who's making my life abundant, right? So I'm looking at the positives as well as the negatives of every situation of life as frequently as possible. That makes me a balanced person. Okay? So right now, guys, here's what I want you to do as an exercise. List down all the situations of your life where you're getting imbalanced. Whether you're getting imbalanced on the positive side too much, whether you're getting imbalanced on the negative side too much, write down those situations. And for each situation, write down all the imbalanced thinking that you have first. So right now, maybe if you're thinking too much negatives, write down what are the disadvantages of that situation right now, because that's going to be easy for you. You're already tilted that way. So write down those disadvantages thoughts right now. But now to balance it, write the flip side, which is what? Positives. Write down what are the positives of that area. Or if you're right now too positive about something, or about a person, or about a particular situation of life, write down all the positives. And then write down the flip side, write down all the negatives. The moment you do that, you feel balanced in life. Okay? The more you have balanced perspective, balanced thinking, the more you have balanced emotions. The more you have balanced emotions, the more you have balanced actions. The more you have balanced actions, the more you have a balanced life where you attract things in a more balanced way. All right? So I hope this helps you. I know it's not enough to understand the whole balance concept easily just on a theoretical level. So please do the exercise. If you don't do this exercise at an experiential level, you will never really understand what's balanced thinking. So do that, and only then you will start experiencing balanced thinking, and suddenly you'll feel balanced the way I feel balanced. Of course, feel free to put your questions on the Facebook group or on the website, but best is to put it on the Facebook group, because then that way we all can understand and interact with each other's problems. Okay? So thank you very much, guys. Have a great day. I'm in Lucknow here, now going down. I finished my workshop yesterday in this beautiful place. Let me quickly show you a view from my room there. Okay. Yep. I don't know, it's a little dark. That's Indu over there. Say hi, Indu. And that's the view from my room. I'm not sure how good the view is being shown because of the light on the camera, but that's my room. So just wanted to show you my room there, and take care and have a nice day. Keep manifesting. Manifest now after you keep the phone about how you're going to attract what you want today. Feel, think, believe, and act like it's already done. Do your visualization, do your affirmations, and I'll see you in the next video soon. Of course, I'll see you on Facebook with your questions. Bye, guys. Take care.